Hello, crafty friends. This is the Papered Chef here. Welcome to part 5 of my Cheerful Basket Workshop series. I'll be concluding this series today, and I hope you will enjoy this project. There are a few different variations of it, but I really want to focus this time on some die cutting because we're going to use the Cheerful Basket, or actually they're called the full basket dies that go along with this Cheerful Basket stamp set. We're going to make some little baskets and weave them together. I'll also show you how I stamp them to create this card here. So we're going to use the two dies. One will cut these three shapes. The other will cut the basket on the outside. We'll weave it together. We'll pop it up with some dimensionals, and it'll look like it's dark inside because we're popping it up, even though we didn't line the back. Then we're going to die cut a bunch of these little apples, which I have all over my table. I just want to show you how to do a few of them. We're not going to put the little sprigs on all of them, just on some of them. We're going to create this card. We're going to be using your Botanical Layers vellum that came in your kit, and I'm showing you how to use that with two other styles of cards as well today. So I hope you enjoy this, and I hope you've enjoyed this series based on the Cheerful Basket. This is such a happy, happy bundle. I love this stamp the most. I call it my bucket of crafty goodness. I'm always using that expression, and look at all the cute little crafts you can color. I'll show you how I did some things with that. I mostly use the apples in this series, but I did something with the hearts and the kitties a couple times. I have a box, I have a bag, I have lots of other cards to show you, including some cards from a bingo event I had, and 2 cards that my friend sent me using this bundle. So stick around to the end, and you're going to get to see more projects created using the Cheerful Basket bundle. Now, this is the larger Stampin' die cut and embossing machine. You can see that it opens up on both sides. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on my table. The sandwich for this is, let me grab these. I'm also going to give you a little sneak peek later of the next series, or maybe I'll just tell you about it a little bit. All right, this is the sandwich. Plate number 1, when it's the base plate like this, right? Then you have the thin die adapter. Whenever you have thin dies, you put down plate number 2. And then you're going to put down, you're going to put down one plate number 3. I put down the scratched one. You can kind of alternate between, it's scratched, but you should put it on the bottom. Maybe this way sometimes, this way, that way, this way. In other words, you're alternating it so that it doesn't warp. And then you're going to keep your sort of better one. It's a little bit better. And you're going to use that number 3 as your top plate. So this is what's called your die cutting sandwich. Now we're cutting the apples out today using a piece of Celebrate Everything Designer Series paper. As you know, I've been coloring apples in polished pink for a while now and using Poppy Prate as well. Now, Poppy Prate is a sort of a shade of red, and it really coordinates well with this polished pink. And that makes the apples look fun in the basket. Now, I've seen other people do it, like where they're using Granny Apple Green for some apples, and even yellow. I've seen it done different ways. You can cut through up to 3 sheets of Designer Series paper at one time. I just want to do this one because I already have a bunch of apples. I just want to do this to show you. And a couple other dies that I did use, just so you know, to make the little sprigs, are this tiny little die here. Look how cute it is for the little leaves. I'm just going to show you, like, I can just put it on there just to kind of show you. I have a little bit of scraps here. We don't really need those leaves, but I just want to show you. Just take little bits of shaded spruce. And then I did some larger leaves with this one as part of my samples. Okay, so let's just go ahead and do that. I'm really concentrating on the apples here. I already have some leaves. I'll show you how to glue those together. All right, so again, 3 sheets of Designer Series paper or 1, maybe 2 sheets of cardstock. I wouldn't push it on the layers of cardstock. I would just push it on the Designer Series paper. So you're going to get these cute little sprigs. Don't lose that tiny die. You're going to get these cute little sprigs. And you're going to take your fine tip glue, and you're going to get your little apple, right? And you want to take the glue. Let's just put a sticky note down here so you can see what I'm doing. So that little strip, you're going to put the little glue right on the top of it like that. Now, this die embosses as well. It's pretty cool. You don't have to use that much glue, but you get the idea. Okay, so you're going to put the apple on top of it. Oops, let's get it. Let's move it over here so it lifts up. So the apple goes on top of the leaf. See that? Pretty cool. So you're just going to put that little sprig, you're going to glue it on the back. Okay, I have some extra sprigs, so I'll show you that again. You're taking your little sprig and you're putting a little bit of, and it has all the embossing done to it. This little leaf. And take one of your apples that you die cut and do this. Now, not all your apples in your basket need to have little leaves sticking out of them. Some of them do, some of them don't, because you're going to have them in different angles. So maybe make leaves different ways, like push them in some that way, some that way. Doesn't matter, okay? And then flip them over to let, after they dry a little bit, flip them over. So that is how to get your apples, and just go ahead and put 3 sheets of designer series paper at once. Cut out a lot of apples. I'm just going to go ahead and run that through just to not waste that scrap of paper. Now for the fun basket. Okay, just to give you a preview, this is what we're making. Okay, those of you that just got here, I see lots of you just came in, so thank you for saying hello. Keep on saying hello. We're making this basket. The little cool little, I wouldn't call it a dimple on the apple, and this nice little embossing on the leaf, that's all done by the die. Not by an embossing folder, by the metal die. It does that for you. So now we're going to take a piece of crumb cake. I'm just taking out a big piece of crumb cake cardstock. It came in your kit. You had some, I even gave you some creamy caramels. That way you can make lots of baskets. Creamy caramels are really cool, retired color. I'm just cutting off a piece of crumb cake. So you had about a half a sheet, I think, in your kit. So take that out, and you're going to take this basket die. Awesome. Wait till you see it. It's going to make like the planks of your basket to weave in. And you're going to take this die. How cool. It's already embossed for you with the little wooden grain. Oh, I love this die. This is like such a great die. All right, now we're going to take the top plate and put that on top. And we're going to crank it through and get ourselves a basket that we can weave. All right, making room. So we have this piece, which is pretty great. I'm going to tilt my camera, or tilt my light. And we have these little planks. So you're going to weave them in and out. So pop these little pieces out. And you can just sort of go up and, over, under, over, under. So we'll just do it the way I did in my sample. See how I did it in my sample? I went like over, under. So you're going to take the largest one, over, under. Yes, we are basket weaving. Weaving a basket. Don't worry that it sticks out. We'll clear that up in a minute. Okay, and now take the next one. And we went over, under, so now we're going to go under, over. So you're going to do the opposite. Under, over. Okay, and so you're going to shove that one in there like that. Now, for some reason, whoever designed this didn't make them match up exactly, but that's okay because maybe the stamp is being used. And if you use a background, the bigger die, like the background piece, then these needed to be a little bit wider. So now I'm going over, under again for the bottom one. I guess it would have probably been easier to do the bottom one first. C'est la vie, it doesn't matter because it's easy either way, and we're going to shove that under there. Now, before you cut the sides off, I advise you to, the bottom one's pretty perfect. It just lines up pretty perfectly, but I like to use my smaller snips to trim off the edges. But before I do that, with the smaller snips, because this one is used just when I'm, cutting big pieces of scraps. They're my German scissors, pretty hefty duty. Pretty sure I got them at Aldi. They have great scissors there. And I'm just gluing down these little pieces that are sticking up. So straighten them out a little bit, glue them down, right on the edges. Just that one should be lined up to the basket already. A little dot of glue, wiggle it so that your basket, yeah, this one's good. Now on this one, turn it over, put a little dot of glue under there. This is after making lots of baskets. If you don't do this, they could slip a little bit. But you can also put adhesive behind them and keep them from slipping. Alrighty, now we're going to take, my friend Michelle makes these 3D glue holders. Pretty cool, adhesive glue holders. So now we're going to flip this around, and we want to trim off the edges. Now you just try not to get glue on your scissors. So like, again, sometimes I scratch my head like, do these people who create this stuff actually try to use it? So I think there's probably a reason that they made it bigger, but it doesn't seem to fit exactly. So I'd like to hear what your comments are. I don't really have, I just do everything. I kind of just teach myself how to use it. So maybe there was a different way I was supposed to use it, but like this piece and those pieces are weaving together. Now there's another piece for the basket, which I use behind here. So maybe they made these planks bigger to fit on top of that little die cut piece. That's to cut out the outside of the stamped image. But they don't really fit, so you have to trim them if you want the basket to look like that, right, to trim it. Okay, so there you go. And you can make it wink of Stella. You can make the basket really cool like that with the wink of Stella. Whatever you want to do. So now let's do the next steps. Let's do the Pacific Point. We're going to make the card. So you're going to take a piece. This came in your kit. Pretty sure it's the last color we haven't used yet. We've used from your kit. You get full sheets, so you can always make 2 of each card. And in my kits, I don't cut the paper for you and make your card because you might want to make your card in the other orientation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it this way. I'm going to make it 5.5. So it's an A2 card either way. So let's cut it. Well, actually, let's score it first. And you might be saying, Paper Chef, why aren't you scoring it with the scoring tool? There is a scoring tool on your Simply Scored, but I prefer to score it this way. I'm going to go ahead and score it at 4.25. This should all be a review. If it's fast, wait for the description in the video later. Okay, now this is going to be, I'm scoring it at 4.25. It's an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. It's an A2 card. I go a lot slower in my card making workshops online where I spend a couple hours showing you how to make cards and then stop in between and go do each section, et cetera, et cetera. But when we're live, we can't do it as slow. Now I'm going to cut this side 5.5. So now I get out of each 8.5 by 11 piece, you get 2 A2 cards. And these cards happen to be opening this way. So I'm calling these the horizontal card. But you could also have cards that open in the other way, like from the top to the bottom. So I have different examples to show you later because I've made cards open both ways. So now I'm just going to get either a spatula or bone folder, whatever. Oops, we're wobbling again. Whatever's closest. I usually use a spatula. I prefer a spatula, but this is a bone folder is what I have. So you're going to use a bone folder, and you're going to push that against the corner. And just so you don't really make, if you use this little corner, it kind of makes a line on your card. So take this wider side of your bone folder and use it like a spatula when you're burnishing the edges of your cards. Let's go ahead and make 2 cards. So I hope you guys are not sick of the Celebrate Everything Designer Series paper yet, because I'm putting it in next month's kit as well. I wanted to make sure I gave it to you before it retires. We're having a last chance sale right now that's like out of this world. Well, it was out of this world a few days ago. Look, I have an apple sticking on me. Isn't this fun? Apple sticking to me. So yes, I have this nice like sale going on at the Stampin' Up store. So check out my Stampin' Up store in the description of this video. So what we're going to do is 5 3/8. So 5 1/4 is what I normally make this matting, but this time I'm going to go 5 3/8. So 1/4 is 2/8. So we're going to go 1/8, 2/8, 3/8. We're going to go 5 3/8 because I really don't want that much of the pool party, the Pacific Point to show through in the back. And I usually mat this layer 4 inches, but this time I'm going to go 4 1/8. So basically that gives us 4 1/8 gives us this tiny little 1/8 of an inch all around the Pacific Point. But let's not put that on the Pacific Point yet. I think it kind of looks like clouds. I really love that piece of pool party. So let's not mount it yet because we have some vellum. So the vellum, I thought it would be fun to include this in your kit. I didn't get to use everything in your kit because when I'm planning the kits, I'm not always done the projects yet. They're in my head, but they're not like in reality. They're not done. So like what happens is sometimes I create the cards after I send the kit. So I gave you a lot of extra stuff, which is good for you, right? You got a lot of extra stuff. But in this kit, you had the Botanical Layers vellum. So we're going to use this piece today on one of the cards. I'm going to show you that. We're going to use this piece right now. It's a little polka dotted piece because I love the texture on it. I didn't use the mountain piece, but you have an extra piece there. I did use the circle piece to show you how to use the note card. You have a craft note cards and envelopes, and I didn't use this piece, but I'm giving you some plain vellum again in next month's kit, and we will use it. You also have another note card here you can make, which I didn't use. So there's lots of extra stuff in your kits, but you're getting hopefully lots of inspiration on how to use it. So this note card, take that out because you're going to make something with that as well. I'm going to show you how to use that. All right, I mean, I might not actually show you the whole thing. I just might show you how I use it. So what you want to do now is take, for this part, what I did is I wanted this to go down there on here, right? So I knew there's going to be a basket there. So I can put vellum. It's very important not to put adhesive in all the wrong places. So what you're going to do with vellum is you're going to use, I would say, like the Seal Plus, right? And some glue dots. And you're going to hide the glue by using little embellishments. Like that's why you'll see little random hearts and such as things like that. So I'm going to take the glue dots. I'm going to get rid of this paper now. Just making some room. And I have what's called some Seal Plus. I love the Seal Plus adhesive. And if not, I'll use rolling adhesive. Let's see if we can use the Seal Plus. All right, this one looks like it's there. So I'm going to put a basket. I'll just go like this. I'm going to put a basket down the bottom so I can put some adhesive right there. Right? I'm going to have, so you can see, I'm going to hide that with the basket. Put a little adhesive there. Now, thinking I could put like a dot over there because I could put like an embellishment there. So wherever you're going to put embellishments, you got to kind of plan out your card before you attach the vellum. So I'm going to get this little dot, and I'm just going to kind of copy this, right? So I'm going to say, okay, how did I do that? I put a little dot over there for an embellishment. So I'm going to use that to help hold down this vellum. We'll cover it up with an embellishment. And then I could put a couple of these at the top because that's where. So glue dots come in. If you don't have any glue dots, they come in paper pumpkin kits as well. So you just have a couple glue dots that you're going to hide and a little where you're going to put the basket. So you don't need that much adhesive for this vellum. If you put glue on it, it curls up like a little ball. So try not to use liquid glue on vellum. But there is something called vellum adhesive, which I love to use too. So now you might be going, you can see through that. Well, yes, but we're covering up those parts. So now let's go ahead and do our little basket. So we're going to cover that up right there. Pretty cool. And what I like to cover it up with is you have a lot of extras of these because in your kit I gave you a bunch of extras. And these are what we used for the shaker cards last week. So I'm popping up the basket with these little foam adhesive strips that you used for your shaker cards. Good. I'll put one in there for good measure. And we'll just cut the other one. So you should have more than half. We only used about half of them to make 2 shaker cards. So this is how many I used for 2 shaker cards. So you have plenty left. You got a whole, about a quarter of a pack. So that's what you have in here. So we always give you extra stuff. Like to spoil my peeps. All right, so there we could take that off and we're gonna put the basket in. So now we can pop up the little apples, but not as high. So we're gonna go like that. All right, now because we don't want the apples to get like falling off, we're gonna go ahead and attach this to the card. So we'll go ahead and mount that to the card. Then when we put the apples, nothing will slip around. And the back of that was the fireworks, because that Celebrate Everything paper is all seasoned paper. Super cool. So get that little 1/8 of an inch margin of Pacific point around the back. Now we can start putting our apples. I have a lot made already. So I was using, for the very bottom, I was just kind of attaching them with a glue dot, and then I started popping them up. So let's just say, this is an easy way to use glue dots. You can just take, like, what you could do is take a bunch of glue dots off the roll. Let's take 5 or so. Okay, and we'll just start popping them on there. And then you can take them off later. Put your apples on there. This is what I do I have little sprigs and stuff. All right. So in other words, you're layering your apples. Where the top apples are going to be popped up and the bottom apples are going to be under there. So now you get them off and just sort of start plopping them around. Don't really matter where. These are not the ones with the sprigs yet. All right. So now we have a few apples. We'll see if we need those. Okay, now let's get the ones with the sprigs. We have lots of apples with sprigs. Here's a few with the little, I'm just looking around my table here. I have lots of these. Now these should be popped up with dimensionals. So you're going to use for those the mini dimensionals. So you're going to use this. I just always have stuff sticking around. An easy way to use these mini dimensionals for something so small like that is to go ahead and peel them off randomly a little bit away from each other like so. See what I'm doing? I'm just kind of peeling them off. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to put an apple there. Put an apple there. You're just kind of centering the apple. Then you can get them off easy, okay? So, pop them in. All right, so we need a red apple over here. We'll put a red apple, and it's being popped up, so that's cute. We'll put a little pink, polished pink apple on top of there. We'll put a red apple behind there. Okay, good, good. Now we got a red apple and a pink. Let's put a pink apple. I'm putting this red apple on top, so I'm going to put a pink apple down there. Then I can put this apple maybe on top of these two, and then I think I need something pink in between, like under there. Okay, so we got a couple popped up and a couple underneath, and I think I need just maybe something to cover that up, like under there. So do we have any more glue dots? Yes, not on that little strip. But you can see how glue dots and dimensionals help you layer things in different heights. So you just basically want your apples to be kind of covered in there. Oh, I love it. And you can angle them in different ways, like maybe that one goes like that. So there are your apples, your basket of apples. So now you're going to take your, let's see, you want to take your, this is for a different card. See, some embellishments, you're going to put an embellishment over there to cover that dot. These are called Fine Sparkle Adhesive Back Gems. So in your kit, you were given some embellishments. I'm putting one right on top of that glue dot before I forget. Right there. And I usually try to put embellishments in groups of 3s. But I wanted to cover that up. So here is what your little kit of embellishments look like. In your kit, you had a bunch of embellishments that are current, and I labeled everything for you. So you can use any of your embellishments, but I would say use these from your kit. And if you're out of the country, you can only get the kits from me if you're in the U.S. My next kit is already available, but not this one anymore because we close it out after it's done. Now, what you want to do is I'm going to use a different die to cut that, but I'm thinking I might just use a rectangle. I'm not really sure. I'm just seeing what I want to use for that. I'm thinking I want to use like maybe the stitch rectangle to make it a little bit different. Just seeing. Or I may already have some done. Because I might have some of the, oh, here we go. Here we go. There's already some in my bucket of crafty goodness. Here we go. This one already has, oh, these are already done. Let's just use what's done. Okay, just to kind of move on. Okay, so what I like to do is, this is why I talk about my bucket of crafty goodness, is I have extra things colored in here that I'm ready to put on top of my boxes. I have extra baskets of apples that I'm ready to either die cut or put in my baskets. I save my extra pieces from each little set that I'm working on. So this one's okay, even though it has the bit of yellow. We'll just go ahead and tie that in with this pale papaya. I think that would tie in a couple of these pool party gems. So what you want to do, and the shaded spruce definitely matches. But what I did here is I used Pacific Point Pool Party gems and the Pacific Point gem from the Fine Sparkle Adhesive Back Gems because it coordinated. All right, so now you're going to just we can use the same dimensionals here, but since you have like a big wide piece, I would take the edge of your mini dimensionals like so, cut that off. That's another good way to make a shaker card, by the way. Is you cut the edges. If you don't have those long foam strips, you can just use the edges of your dimensionals. So let's put that over there, hiding that dot. Put it off to the side a little bit. I like to just kind of off-center that. I want the little leaves to kind of overflow like that. Now, because of that little bit of yellow, which is probably not even in that color palette. I don't even know. I'm just going to put a couple of these pale papaya kind of gems to sort of tie that around, and I'll use a couple extra gems. So that will tie into that color, and I'm going to use a couple of these pool party ones. Let's put a pool party up there because that's the color of the designer series paper. So I'm going to go ahead and put a couple pool party. So now I got 5 gems. I try to use odd numbers of gems. And that's how you make that card. And you can use Wink of Stella for your little basket of apples. So it's very simple. We used our Botanical Layers vellum. That's in the annual catalog. It's a pretty cool vellum. So now let's use that vellum on this card just to talk about this card for a moment. We don't have to do the whole card, but you can just get the idea because I want to make sure you know about using your note cards. This note card package is awesome, you guys. It's called the Craft Note Cards and Envelopes, and it comes with this really cool box. And in my kits lately, I've been putting these note cards because I like to always give you an idea of what our current items are. You know, just letting you sample some of our current supplies. So go like this, and it's a 3.5 by 5 note card. So what I want you to do is take out your piece of vellum that looks like this. And it's already the perfect height for a note card. That's what I love. But all we need to do is make it the perfect width for a note card. So what you're going to do is see how it's already the perfect height? Exactly. Awesome. But we need to cut off 1/4 inch on each side because it's a 1/2 inch too wide. We want the circle to be perfectly centered. So go over here and cut off 1/4 inch. Not quite 1/4 inch from one side. One side you can cut off a little more. See that? That one's okay. That one gets close up to the edge. But the other side, oops. All right. I think it was 1/8 inch, guys. Oops. I think I cut off a little bit too much. All right. Well, that's okay. But you get the idea. So, yes. Pretty close. Pretty close. But the other one, I covered it exactly. So what you want to do, so you want to cut off 1/8 inch on each side, because it's only 1/4 inch wider than it's supposed to be. So there you get this little vellum, and it makes a really cool layer for your card. So you're just going to turn it around and do this. Boom. Wait, is it the bottom? Make sure it's the bottom. Kind of put the adhesive kind of close to the bottom, like so, because you can see through it. So you're going to put that on the card, like so. And it's supposed to cover the whole top of the card. Pretend I'm covering the card exactly, and that I didn't cut it a little bit too short. Okay, now there you go. And then you're going to take your basket of apples. Now, I think I already have a basket here, so I don't need to reinvent the wheel every time. I'm just going to go ahead and cut, because this was something I used for bingo, so it's already, I can't die cut it because I've already cut the top of it off. I probably had it together at one point and cut it all apart. So I'm just cutting around it. I'm just making a little note card for you to show you how simple this is. And remember, we colored this with the Stampin' blends. We used crumb cake. And this one was stamped in Memento Black, and the other one was stamped in crumb cake. The basket and the other note card sample. So put that on there. I mean, you could pop it up if you want, but you're covering up that vellum. And you're going to take your little baskets, the top of your apples, which I had cut out earlier, and you should pop that up. Remember, we did all this coloring. We used Poppy Parade earlier in this, and I showed you how to just use some of this little bit of crumb cake to make your edges a little bit darker. So you put that in there. And you can pop it up if you want with a couple. Again, a trick when you're using these mini dimensionals is, say you want to make the mini dimensionals go across something. Just pop off a few of them while they're on here. Right? Do you see that? Pop off a few. Stick this on there. And peel it off. And there's your dimensionals on there. Pop that under there. All right, good. And then you could do Inspired by You. I have one that's stamped, but here, we could do Get Well. We'll do Get Well Cheer. We got to change it up because we've only done one and this one is a little wonky. Get Well Cheer. The other one was a little wonky. But I saved those because if I have a wonky sentiment, I just simply use it and cover up like an edge of it, but it's no problem. All right, we're going to do one there, and one there. So that's how you make a little note card. And then I did some extra leaves. I did some, but I think we could do, I'm just trying to tuck in that little bit of, here we go. We can use some of these, like I use these leaves for my note card. So that's what I did for this, see? So that's the second card. I did, this is the Stylish Shapes dies, this one here. I should tell you all the dies I used. This one's just a rectangle that I cut. These are Stylish Shapes dies. This heart comes from this kit. And what you want to do is if you do put a heart here somewhere, you can then put a glue dot behind it. So what I like to do is put the glue dot under there first. Again, another vellum trick. Because you always want to hide all your adhesive when you use vellum. That's where you see random hearts I did. So like you want something down here. We can do some under the sentiment, or at least one under the sentiment. Let's just kind of estimate where that goes. Okay, good. Good estimate. And then I could see that dot there. So for that dot there, I'm going to go ahead and put a heart using the glue dots, because when you use hearts and when you use vellum, using liquid glue is not good to use on vellum. It just doesn't stick well. So I'm going to stick this little heart. So you have one little glue dot under the vellum. Ooh, what happened there? That got compressed. Okay, that got squashed. Squashed. Let's use a poppy braid one anyway. I didn't want to use a polished pink because I don't have any pink in this card. So I think the dot's a little bit too big for the heart is what it is. But it's better not to use a lot of rolling, like liquid adhesive on vellum because it oozes out. So a little heart there. And what that did is it hid the glue dot, sort of. You get the idea. If you really want to hide it, shove it under there because the glue dot's bigger than the heart. But we don't have any glue oozing out. All right, so then you can add some little heart, little leaves and sprigs like I could do. I could do these little leaves like this or just put a few more hearts or some more of my cute little embellishments if I want to. Let's see. 1, 2. It's my card. Anything goes. I can do whatever I want. There we go. So there's another idea for a card. So now you got to use your layering vellum designs once again. And I use some Wink of Stella on those leaves. Okay, card number 2. Card number 3, and this is your note. This is your envelope that goes with it. You have a nice little note card. So that's using the craft note cards and envelopes, and you can send someone that nice little card in the nice little envelope. And believe it or not, the post office makes you pay more when you send something small. Because my team member Rita sent me the note card, and she's had to pay extra. Happened to me too when I make things. You know, I understand when it's a little bigger, but they charge you when it's a little bit smaller than standard size. Like it's only like an extra 20 cents. But what I tend to do is put the note cards in. I'm getting glue dots stuck on everything. I'm stuck on you. I tend to put everything like in. If I'm putting this note card to someone, if I would probably give them this card like so, and then I'd put it in a bigger envelope, and then I don't have to pay the extra 20 cents. All right, third card. Here's the third card. And for this card, I did Pacific Point again. So let's take this card. And we would trim it down. Hello, Terry. I'm going to say hi to everybody in just a moment. All right, let's see. 1, 4 1/4. 4 1/4. So instead of 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, like your A2 card, what I did is I trimmed it down and made a little card like so. And then I took this piece of botanical layering vellum, and this one. So if this was 4 1/4, this is a 1/2 inch. So this would be 3.75 or 3 3/4. But don't cut it off the same size at one time. Do like that, a little bit on one side, and then turn it around 3 3/4, because you want to center this beautiful, beautiful design. So you want to do something like that. Then you're going to take your piece of this cut piece of, again, Pool Party from the Celebrate Everything Designer Series paper, and you want to make a 4-inch square. Again, this will be in the description. When I'm all done the series, I tend to write up all the measurements because I'm also writing for my newsletter and my tutorials. All right, there we go. So you're going to do something like that, maybe like that, and it's framed. One side's darker than the other. And then to hide the adhesive, you always want to hide the adhesive. So again, I'm just trying to get a piece. Okay, so for this one, you can actually go right behind the leaf this time because it'll get hidden because it's a dark leaf. Oh, that didn't center. It comes right off because vellum is like plastic, right? So it comes right off. So you can hide a couple of these right behind the leaves. Like here's one can go right here. And then I could put one down there, and then that would stay. So 3 glue dots will keep it, it'll make it stay. And then, of course, knowing that the basket's going to be in the middle, I could put a little bit of adhesive in the middle. There we go. Because I'm going to put this right here. So let's look at this card one more time. I'm going to put this in the middle. So let's go like this. Right? Boom. Piece of adhesive across the middle. And a few glue dots to hold it down. I like the little cloud facing up. It's nice to put something behind this vellum. It makes it beautiful. Now, apples tend to be fall, and this isn't really fall, but I think it kind of looked cool. And it's your card, so you can do whatever you want. I thought the botanical layers vellum just kind of is generic botanical layers, although it kind of looks like a jungle, but it could really be any time of year, in my opinion. So you put that on there. So now you have the card. Now I want you to know where I got this little basket from. So this little basket, last week we did what's called the shaker cards. And in the shaker cards, I showed you how to cut out this piece from the polished pink to make your shaker card window. So that's what I put right there. And that's how I got this card. I put the polished pink behind here. Then I added polished pink and Pacific Point on here to tie into the polished pink down there. And that is how I got this card with 3 little hearts. Well, there were 3 hearts. Oh, no, there's the 3rd heart. There are 3 hearts. Okay, and I think it also needs a little bit of bling because it does. Let's put some bling on there. 1, 2, and 3. So now it's shiny. I think it looks a little better shiny. And you can do your Wink Estella on your apples, and that's how I did this card. So that is how we were getting our happy baskets of apples. And you can make an apple fall out of the basket if you want. Toss an apple on the ground. You can make a couple apples sit down here like so. If you want to put a couple extra apples on your card, that would be really cute as well. Again, I would pop those up with dimensionals. You know, wherever you can fill in the space however you like to. Oops. The glue goes on the front. Make sure the glue goes on the front of your sprig, not the back of your sprig. So something like that. Popping the dimensionals up. So you can see why this is really good to have mini dimensionals and regular dimensionals. In your kit, you got the regular dimensionals, so you have to cut them down. But you can also use the mini dimensionals. I think this little leaf is a little bit down under there. I think it's fun to just improve upon the card as I'm doing a video. I think that's kind of cool. So like I'm improving upon my sample, I think, by adding a couple extra apples. I don't know, what do you think? It's kind of like apples fell out of the basket. I could toss it like over on the side like it landed, but I think it's kind of cool just to let a couple sit on the ground because that's what really happens. You go to an apple orchard and there's apples all over the ground. In fact, there's some of the best apples when you're picking. All right, before I show you all the projects from this entire series, those were the 3 cards I wanted to show you. Once again, using Botanical Layers vellum for this background. Lots of die cutting. You wove your little basket. Botanical Layers vellum. Extra pieces. And the craft note cards and envelopes. Everything was the apple dies. I mean, the full basket dies. Everything here. Except for these little shapes that are stitched. These are from the Stylish Shapes dies. Stylish Shapes dies. You got these in your kit. I gave you one set of dies already cut. And these 2 are from the Stitched Rectangle dies. So I hope that you got to see those in your kit. So you get to make those. If you were in my bingo, we used a few of them in bingo too. Hello, Lynn. And hello, Deborah from New South Wales, Australia. Ginger Snap. Love that name. Absolutely love that name. And that cookie too. All right. And Deborah's still saying hi. And Sandy's here from COFID Stampin' Grounds. And Deborah is saying hi to Sandy. Okay. Next series, Inquiring Minds. Okay, Lynn, brings me to I did have a sneak peek for you, but here. Warm welcome. All right, as I'm saying hello to you, warm welcome bundles next. And one thing that you're going to get in your kit, because I love to share the wealth, is some of this new paper, which I had sitting here, but it can easily get buried. So I'll talk to you as here. You're getting some of this new paper that you can only get when you spend $100 during celebration starting January 5th. And I ordered a giant pack of it. I was able to order it early because of I was able to attend on stage in Jacksonville, Florida. So this is going to be in the kit. Lots of extra crafty goodness. You're not going to get botanical layers vellum like the printed patterns like this, but I'm going to give you some of the plain vellum. And you're going to get lots of embellishments. And you're going to get the Celebrate Everything Designer Series paper, the Design a Daydream Designer Series paper, and this paper, which I already forgot the name of, but maybe Sandy, who's here, she's on my team, can remember the name. Dainty Designs, maybe? I think it's called. I already forget the name of it. But it's in the celebration brochure, which I'm not allowed to open yet. So anyway, Lynn, that's my next workshop series, which I'm starting probably tomorrow or the next day, because I have to send the kits out. I haven't sent the kits out yet. I just opened up the registration for the kits, and then until December 5th, because I didn't have a lot of time to do them this time. But I did get this paper. And even if I run out of this paper, I ordered more, and it's coming next week. So you'll get this paper because we're going to use it in the designs. We're going to use some fresh freesia and pool party. We're not going to use this mint macaron, but this is a card that I made with this during the World Card Making Day. We're going to be doing this ombre effect on the door and die cutting the door and doing a card like this, except we're not going to be having the background embossed, and we're not going to use a mint macaron, but you're going to have fresh freesia in your kit and pool party. So I was thinking of doing something similar like this with one of these backgrounds. See, it goes so nice with the fresh freesia. And then put the welcoming door on this little panel with white. I just love that. And you just like, welcome to the neighbors. Let's spend some time together. Some hearts. So I improved upon the note card. This is a regular card, but I improved upon the note card that they taught us how to make at World Card Making Day. So I'm going to be starting out with that simple card where we get to use the dies and do some ombre effect. Then we'll get into some more fun projects from there. We'll do some Christmassy things because you're getting some retired Christmas paper and probably some current Christmas paper. We'll do some Christmassy things because it's December. We'll make lots of stocking stuffers and things that we can, play with. All right, thank you. Betty's here. She's on my team. Okay, and Sandy, thank you. Dandy Designs. So you're going to get that. Celebrate Everything. You're going to get Dandy Designs. You're getting some Design a Daydream, and you're getting some Christmas paper, and you're getting a bunch of cardstock, at least 7 colors, some embellishments, some ribbon, and all kinds of stuff. All right, so you're good. You like the extra apples. Okay, where was I? I was going to show you this next series. That was Lynn. And Jackie's here, and Gloria, Lala's Crafts, Melissa, Pamela, Melody, Betty, Lisa from Canada, Anna from Victoria, Australia. And, okay, Betty's saying she loves the basket. Hello, Nola, again. Thank you for signing up for my Designer Series Paper Share. My team gets early bird everything, guys. Join my team. There's a great special. You get early bird everything. Discounts, too. Hello, Anna. Terry P. All right. I'm seeing Yvonne. I already said hello to Yvonne, I think. All right. Anna likes the extra apples. Terry likes the extra apples. Okay. Missing notifications. Okay. What happens, Yvonne, is down in the bottom when you do YouTube videos, you need to, I just want to show you a couple things, guys. I want to show you how you can use the basket to make the owls. But anyway, YouTube stops notifying you of things. Right? They just they just drop my subscribers sometimes for me. And every time I'm subscribed to channels, they just stop notifying me that the channel has gone live. Every once in a while, they just clean out all the settings. You got to go back if you want the notifications and hit that little bell and get notified of my videos going live. Plus, I put it in my VIP group. I put it on my Paper Chef page on Facebook that I'm going live. So I notify you those ways. So please, watch for those notifications. Anyway, you take this little basket that I just wove, and you can make the little owl stand on the little basket. This is how to use Celebration that's coming up. The new Celebration freebie item that you spend when you get, this paper is free when you spend $100. It's 12 by 12 paper, by the way, 48 sheets. I'm just sharing it with my crafty friends. I cut it down to 6 by 6 because that's what we need for our cards. Anywho, get it? Any hoot. This little basket we made today can be used with Celebration. So don't stop using Cheerful Basket just because Celebration rolls along. Put that little owl on these cute little baskets. Because the adorable owls are free when you spend $50 at my Stampin' Up store. And I know I have a couple bags to show you as well with the little owls. Alrighty, I think I said hello to everybody. Pamela, I did. Okay, now we'll just show you some more projects I made with this, and we're going to wrap it up with that. So I had just told you I was going to show you little owls. This is a little celebration sneak peek. How does it tie in? You're like, where's that tie in? It ties in because I used the basket that we used today. In the same way we're going to weave the basket, I used it for the owls. So you can do that. My husband said I should put black behind the basket because you could see the colors through it. And he said, you know, if you want to make it look empty and like it's standing on an empty basket. But that's cool. Either way, I love like getting feedback. And this one has like cocoa in it. And I have these really cool marshmallows and stuff. All right. Hoot, hoot, you're so cute. Now it's time to show you some things we have made in this series. So one of the, I'm not sure which video we made what, but one of the videos we made this little bag with the little kitty on it. These little bags are add-on bags. One of my little gems fell off. This is from the Florets dies, or that set of ovals right now. And this little bag I put in your kit, and it's the one that comes with the add-on for the paper pumpkin kit, of which I'm also in the middle of making a video for. Here's a little cheer. I forget what I put in here. It's been so long. Here's a little cheer. Oh, yeah, some tea. These were on clearance recently. I bought some more, but I put these in your kit. Hey, Janet, you were asking what happened to your Ghirardelli. I thought my mom ate it, but there's your Ghirardelli. It's in that box. My friend Janet sent me Ghirardelli. Okay, this is a little basket a little box we made in this series. And what I thought would be fun is to take a piece that I put on this box. You could put ribbon in it and stuff, and you could sort of take the panel and even put it on one of the bags that I taught how to make. So if you don't know how to make this bag, there's a video on YouTube here on how to make this bag. It's just called Gift Bag Tutorial. And I just thought that'd be fun. Take this, celebrate everything. Look at this paper. Oh, this is the one I accidentally glued together. So that was the defective bag. But you could just put these panels on the front of your bags and it would be really cute. But I'm probably going to make another box like that. So I always have a lot of extra things done because I'm not sure what I'm going to do with things yet. And this bag, I'm ready for like owls or something to go on it. All right, we made shaker cards during this series in one of the episodes. I think it was the last episode, episode 4 or part 4. And these are the little buckets of crafty goodness and the shaker cards. You had some sequins in your kit. All right, we made these apple cards in this series. That's a nice fall card for using that Celebrate Everything paper and some gingham ribbon that came in your kit. So we've done a lot of stuff in this series. And we made these cards here with the hearts. And I accidentally used the white Winkostella that Stampin' Up! Doesn't sell, but I accidentally spilled it all over the place. And you're really supposed to use the clear Winkostella so you can see the hearts that we just got done coloring. That's the difference between clear Winkostella on the apples and the white Winkostella, which actually covered my hearts. They look cool still, but they're not the color I wanted them to be. And then I had a bingo. And in my Stampin' bingo, Linda, who from ScanNCut and Create, she made a card using Design a Daydream. It was a fun fold card. So I don't have that card because she presented it in the bingo to the VIPs. So I know her card was awesome. And we have it in the VIP group, okay, and how to make it. And these two are the same design, believe it or not. I made the same design for my 2 samples. This little panel is the same. See, it has that little 1/8-inch margin around it. These 2 strips are the same size. And I'm using Celebrate Everything Designer Series paper. So this is pretty much the same design twice. They look completely different, but the measurements are the same. Just the layout's a little bit different. Okay, now this one is one that my teammate Rhonda sent me, and it sat outside. I was away for Thanksgiving, and it got rained on for many days out in my mailbox. It fell on the ground and got rained on. But what I think is cool is that it still looks good. That's how cool this is. Oh, look at all the colors. It looks like she watercolored like I was supposed to do that. I love that. Crafter's Gonna Craft. And then this one, so this one is from Rhonda Corkin Crafts. She's on my team, Paper Chefs. And this is from Kathy Schmidt, Backyard Stamper. And I love her card too. She used Happy Birthday from another set. No, I'm not sure what set she used the Happy Birthday from. But I like how she made little panels and she used, I forget what that paper is, but I'm pretty sure that paper is Misty Moonlight. It might be a retired color. I mean, the Misty Moonlight's retired color. I think that is that color is what I'm saying. And I like how she did that with her baskets. So there's just so many things you can do with the Cheerful Basket Bundle. The possibilities are endless, and I hope you got a lot out of this series. And we're going to be doing more 3D items in my next series. To order the kit, just go ahead and check on my VIP group, or I'll put the link in the description of this video to order the warm welcome kit. please contact me because it's only open until December 5th, but I'll open it another day or so. Then I have to mail off these kits and start this next series. Look at how many great sentiments are on here. And I want to point out one thing about this Warm Welcome Bundle, which is in the upcoming catalog, but it's available now, is that these sentiments are bigger than they appear on the outside of the, see, they're a little bit bigger. Some of them are. They seem to be. So my door is always, well, maybe not. Maybe that's not bigger. Let's test it. No, it's not bigger. Okay, I thought it was. But still, it's a pretty big sentiment, though. See that? Pretty big. So I really like that. And I love the kitty. We have another kitty to use. Maybe we can incorporate the kitty from this month and put this kitty. I think the kitties will match, coordinate pretty cute. Yep, look at that. We can even put 2 kitties in the same scene if we want. But there's lots you can do with this. And I just think like it's just nice to make little fun cards using this Warm Welcome Bundle. And it's clear, so you can actually see through the stamp as you work on it. And the die is fantastic. And you get this extra rectangle every single time you cut out the door. And you can save those rectangles and use them to make tags, which we'll be doing. All right, well, that's all for now. This is the Paper Chef. Have a great day. And we'll see you again real soon.